morning, families, and good morning, my sweet littles. How are you doing today? Today we're going to have a Zoom circle, and I'm very excited to make a little puppy dog with you. But first, let me introduce the book that I'm going to be reading to you today. Click, clack, moo, cows that type. We remember this from school, hopefully, and I loved reading this to Joshua when he was little. We would laugh and giggle all the time, and he would say again, because he always wanted me to read it over and over and over again. So I can't wait to share this book with you. But first, I wanted to share something that Joshua received a really long time ago from his daddy, and it is this green paperweight. And you can see there's bubbles inside, and there's a flat surface at the bottom so it can sit on a table. And they call it a paperweight because if you were outside or if you had the windows open and you were working on writing your book or working on writing or doing something with paper, then you could take this paperweight and hold it on top of it, and your papers wouldn't fly off into the wind. And that's how they started. But this one has a beautiful design on the interior, and we have a couple glass blowers here in town, and I used to love taking photographs of the Nero studio that was down along the waterfront. They have since closed, but we do have another one called Smyers, and I believe that this one is from Nero. So I have one from Smyers, but this is a Nero glass, and you can see it's clear glass on the, and then they put a blue glass on the interior of it, and it made it look like a sea star or an octopus, something from nature, I would think, or a flower. It could be up to you what you believe that it looks like, but it's very hot when you go inside the glass studios, and they get the room so warm because they have these huge like ovens, furnaces that heat up the sand that then turns into liquid glass. And then they take a long pole and they blow through that metal rod. At the end of the rod is a bunch of very gooey, very hot glass. That it's sand that has been heated and then melted, and now it's in this sort of gooey form, very hot. You cannot touch with your hands. And when they blow through the long tube, it inflates it like a ball. And then they work with it with their hands and with tools, not with their bare hands, but with things on their hands. And they smooth it out, and they make patterns and add different colors, and they put different bubbles into it and form it into big or small or medium-sized structures. So if you get a chance, maybe not right now, but maybe in a little while, you could go and visit Smyers, or you can watch videos of glass blowing. That would be fun. Let's start our book. Let's put on our lavender. And let's all take a nice deep breath. I think I need one. How about you? Okay, ready? We're going to take a nice deep breath. Let's take another deep breath in. Exhale. Have you been doing your yoga? Have you been doing your breathing? How about eating yummy foods and drinking lots of water? I hope you have. Let's light our candle. And can you hear the different vehicles that are traveling on my street? I have the windows open. It's a beautiful morning, and the birds are singing, and I really wanted to hear the birdies sing while I was reading. And here's our candle. Can you see it? I'm gonna put it right over here so you can see it. Okay. Oh, maybe not so much. Let's move this little violet over, and then maybe we can put our candle right there. Perfect. Click, Clack, Moo, Cows the Type by Doreen, Cronin, and pictures by Betsy Lewin. There you see the cows, and they're all gathering around an old-fashioned typewriter. Back in the day, before we had computers, we had manual typewriters. Manual meaning you had to press a key, and then that little key had some ink on it, and it would touch the paper, and it would be the letter that you chose, like A or B. Here, you can see the cows. They're sort of wandering around. Farmer Brown has a problem. His cows like to type. All day long, he hears click, clack, moo, click, clack, moo, clickety, clack, moo. So here, his face looks a little disgruntled, which he does not look pleased. He has a sort of scowl on his face. Always using your observational skills to see what the emotions of the person's body is, and you usually can tell what it is on their faces. And here is the barn. Probably where the cows are. At first, he couldn't believe his ears. Cows that type? Impossible. Click, clack, moo, click, clack, moo, clickety, clack, moo. So now, there he is running up to the barn. He doesn't believe his ears. Then he couldn't believe his eyes. Dear Farmer Brown, the barn is very cold. At night, we'd like some electric blankets. Sincerely, the cows. So here he is reading a notice that the cows have put up on the outside of the barn, and they have written a letter, and it says, sincerely, the cows. Cows that type? It was bad enough the cows had found the old typewriter in the barn. Now they wanted electric blankets? No way, said Farmer Brown. No electric blankets. So the cows went on strike. They left a note on the barn door. Sorry, we're closed. No milk today. So here's the cows inside, peeking around. You can see the shadow of the farmer going, he's not pleased, not at all. And there's some locks on the door, and there's the note that the cows have written. No milk, so they're not letting him get the milk from them. No milk today, cried the Farmer Brown. In the background, he heard the cows busy at work. Click, clack, moo, click, clack, moo, clickety, clack, moo. Look at the cows typing. Must be challenging with their hooves, but they're doing a good job. The next day, he got another note. Dear Farmer Brown, the hens are cold too. They like electric blankets. Sincerely, the cows. So now you can see that the little chickens are peeking out, wondering what Farmer Brown is going to be doing when he reads this note. And he's reading it right here, and they're all peeking out of the barn, very interested. And here's the other note that the farmer is now reading about the chickens wanting blankets. The cows were growing impatient with the farmer. They left a new note on the barn door. No eggs? Oh, it says closed. No milk, no eggs. No eggs, cried the Farmer Brown. In the background, he heard them click, clack, moo, click, clack, moo, clickety, clack, moo. So here are all the empty pails that they have upturned and put over. And this is a stool for milking. They have turned that over too. No, they're saying, no, 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 you won't be using this. And the chickens, they have very determined looks on their faces. They're saying no milk and no eggs because they want blankets. Cows that type, hens on strike, whoever heard of such a thing? How can I run a farm with no milk and no eggs? Farmer Brown was furious. Here's the cows completely happy. They're totally fine with their decision. And here's Farmer Brown running away from the barn, absolutely upset and not knowing what to do. He's going, wah. Farmer Brown got out his own typewriter. Dear cows and hens, there will be no electric blankets. You are cows and hens. I demand milk and eggs. Sincerely, Farmer Brown. So here, he's typing a letter. Do you think this is going to work? Duck was a neutral party, so he brought the ultimatum to the cows. So from the farmer gave it to the duck, his note, and now the duck is bringing it to the cows and the chickens. The cows held an emergency meeting. All the animals gathered around the barn to snoop, but none of them could understand moo. All night long, Farmer Brown waited for an answer. So this is a scene outside the barn. Inside, the cows are mooing, talking about what it is they want to do. And here are all the other barn animals trying to listen in to see what might happen. Duck knocked on the door early the next morning. He handed Farmer Brown a note. Dear Farmer Brown, we will exchange our typewriter for electric blankets. Leave them outside the barn door and we will send Duck over with the typewriter. Sincerely, the cows. So they negotiated. Here's Duck carrying the note that he just was reading. Negotiation. They said, I'll give you something if you give us something in return. This might be an interesting proposition. We'll see. Farmer Brown decided that this was a good deal. He left the blankets next to the barn door and waited for Duck to come with the typewriter. So here you see all the cows. And if you haven't seen an electric blanket before, it's a blanket that is attached to an outlet that then sends electricity through it so that it can continue to be warmed up. It's so nice. And even the chickens are sleeping with blankets. The next morning, he got a note. Dear Farmer Brown, the pond is quite boring. We'd like a diving board. Sincerely, the ducks. Click, clack, quack. Click, clack, quack. Clickety, clack, quack. So, the duck took the typewriter, did not bring it to the farmer, and is now using it to make demands of the farmer. And guess what? Looks like it worked. Bum, bum. Click, clack, clue. Click, clack, moo. Cows that type. This was one of my favorites. That always gave us a laugh. I hope that today you go out and enjoy yourselves, and maybe you'll watch a video on glass blowing, or maybe you have some of these beautiful little objects that were blown by an artist in town. Hopefully you'll be coming and joining me with Zoom as well. I hope that you do have a beautiful day. If not, and I will see you soon. I love you. Mwah.